primary, secondary. Strategies investors use to invest, and how to interpret information about stock quotes on various websites, right? So think of primary markets, secondary markets, because we'll kind of talk about that a bit. Primary markets, we say a company offers stock, right? It says, hey, we've gotten big enough, we were a private company. Now we're big enough that I think we want to offer stock to the public to buy, right? So we'll go up put ourselves on an index, the New York Stock Exchange. The index is just places where a bunch of stocks are listed. And we'll have initial public offering. The first time we're offering stock to the general public, right? And you're like, that's the primary market. Primary market is like offering stock to increase the value of the company. So if we're owners, we're like, now I'm a billionaire. So Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, all these people would not be a billionaire. They would not make any of those lists had they not have a public offering of stock. The only reason why we can calculate what they're worth is we can look at the stock of Facebook price, calculated by the number of stock Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk own. That's how they're on the list. Right? Because we don't know how much property they own, if they actually bought it themselves, if they're leasing it, if they're, it's a lot of information. We don't know that. What we do know is the stock of Facebook, multiply the number of stocks that Zuckerberg owns, the stock of Tesla and other companies that Elon Musk owns, the price, multiply the number of stocks. Right, well, that's simple math. There you go. 300 billion, 200 billion, 150 billion. Right? So you're like, hey, that's how you get to the billionaire status. You don't get to the billionaire status usually without making an offering to the general public. It's not going to happen. It's like a unicorn. Right? You don't just start a company and like, boom, a billion dollars. Maybe if you're really successful and then a bigger company comes and buy you out. It says, hey, you're too much of a threat, too much of a competitor. We like your company, we like what you do, but you don't want us competing with us. Take $3 billion and let us buy it, and you get out of here. That could be another way you become a billionaire. There's probably only two ways, really, you ever become a billionaire, right? Offering stock on the index or selling the company. Oh, so we said primary market is when you offer stock, right? Public offering. Secondary market is you and I who own the stock, who bought it, and now we want to buy and trade. I want to sell the stock. That's secondary market, right? That means that we're doing our own activities, the people who bought the stock. Primary is the company offering. All right, financial markets. Markets that transfer funds from savers to borrowers, right? We need financial markets. Nobody can afford this stuff on their own. What? You think your parents could have just came up with the cash to just buy the house outright? No, they don't have the money. Usually, if it's and even if they did, what you want to use your own money. Right? I don't want to spend $350,000 in cash to buy this house. Not my own money, it might leave me with $0, and that wouldn't be smart, right? So you're like, we need markets, right? We need institutions, banks, and things like that to say, give me some money, right? I'm lending the money, I don't have the complete ownership of the house, but I'll pay you a mortgage every month, a small amount, and I get to keep my money and do other stuff with it, for the most part, and thank you for giving me your money. Or you're like, hey, I have a business, we got a new product, we got to hire more people, we got to do stuff, I need a loan. Right? So financial markets are critical to our economy. Right? Markets transfer funds from savers to borrowers. Right? But who are the savers? Savers could be banking institutions. You're like, well, I put my money in a checking or savings account. You're like, okay, great. Is the bank going to do something with your money in that account? Like, yeah, they're going to buy stuff. They're going to lend more money out with your money, right? They're going to buy more buildings, buy companies. They're going to invest themselves. The bank are going to do something, right? So you're like, hey, it's a cycle, right? And without this cycle, we would not be as great as we are from a financial point as a country. Right? We have a totally different system that we would have to work under. So it helps company obtain financial resources required to meet payrolls, right? You gotta pay people that work for you. You need that money. If you don't have it from sales, you gotta get it from the bank. Invest in new facilities. You need to buy new facilities. You need to borrow money. Develop new products. Might cost $10 million to develop a new product. You may not have that cash. You need to borrow money. Institution. And compete effectively in global markets. So last week we talked about, hey, you get debt, but debt is good, right? If you leverage it. Leverage means like, I use debt to make it work, right? Bad leverage is like, I use debt and I can't get out of the debt no more, right? Bad credit score, bad credit rating, something like that. So like, hey, in our markets, debt is good, if effective, especially in global markets. Right? Could be highly effective because we said we got our own currency, the US dollar, depending on what's going on in the economy, it might be far superior to another country's currency. So you're like, whoa, US dollars, I can buy a ton of stuff in South America, in Asia, in Australia, in Africa, in Europe, right? So that means you could be highly competitive just because you're an American company, right? And sometimes our dollar is usually dominant. Not all times, especially not now. All right, and then what kind of institutions are involved in financial markets? We say, hey, depository institutions, institutions that require deposits of money, checking accounts, savings deposits, and then lending those funds to borrowers, right? So we're saying banks, financial intermediary, such as commercial bank, most commonly depository institution, right? JP Morgan Chase, Chase Bank, Bank of America, Fifth Third, something of the sort. Now, what institutions do you bank with? That's a later question. We can answer that later. All right, then we say, hey, is that the only option to get money, to borrow money, or to hold my money in the checking or savings line now? A commercial bank usually is under the rule of the Federal Reserve, meaning that the Federal Reserve is giving them money and then also setting rates. Like, hey, as a bank, you can't deviate too much from the rate we set as the Federal Reserve, right? The central bank. Right, okay, that's kind of restrictive. Then we have things like credit unions, right? You say this is different. It's organized as a cooperative, meaning that it's owned by the depositors. So the people that deposit money own essentially the bank as a cooperative. They're a member, right? And you're like, that's kind of good because as a member, you might have extra benefits. You might be able to get a loan easier with a credit union than you would with a commercial bank. You might have better rates. Like, oh, I get a lower interest rate, right? On the loan that I'm taking. So I'm not gonna pay that much money back next year, right? So credit unions are good. All sorts of credit unions. It could be for unions, they're like auto workers unions. It could be for people in the trades, plumbers, electricians. It could be for military people, veterans, right? All sorts of credit union banks. So you ever get a chance to look up some of the credit unions that maybe you can join, right? Because you may want to buy a house and like, I think it's easier with the credit union than Chase and Bank of America. Savings and Loan Association. This is another depository institution that traditionally obtained most of its funds by accepting savings deposits, right? To use primarily for mortgage loans. Right, so we say here for usually like certificate of deposits, the kind of long-term savings vehicle where you do get an interest rate attached to the amount of money that you place into the bank. So you're like, hey, this is safe. Kind of, a lot of it is guaranteed, but it's not as risky as putting my money in stocks and bonds and things like that, right? So you have a savings and loan association that you use. Non-depository financial institution. We say, hey, these are not really banks. This is not operating on checking accounts and savings accounts and deposits, right? They're different. They have institutional investors, financial capital, and use it to acquire a portfolio of different assets. right? So you say they're really just kind of a business, and they use strategies to buy more stuff, assets. Real estate portfolio, they also may buy stocks, bonds, mutual funds, all sorts of things. Up next, we got securities broker, right? So if you work with some of these institutions, you may work with a broker. All right, they're interested in buying and selling these securities. So they're an intermediary or an agent. Brokers earn commissions and fees for the services that they provide, right? So a good business to be into. A lot of times you have to get licensed, right? Series 7, Series 63. If you want to be a broker, a securities broker, investment broker. A dealer is different than a broker, right? We say this is an intermediary who participate directly in securities markets. So they're buying and selling stocks and other securities for its own account, right? So they're an investment company that buys stocks and bonds and et cetera, and that's their business model. They just buy and sell. That's what they're doing. And then investment bank, a financial intermediary that specializes in helping firms raise financial capital by issuing securities, right, in the primary markets. Right, so we say primary markets is offering stocks for people to buy, right, to raise capital for different reasons. All right, so here's our first question. Hey, what type of financial institution do you use for your spending, borrowing, and saving? We already heard some people use banks, right? I don't think anyone here uses a credit union. Anyone here uses a virtual bank? Like, and they don't have a physical bank that I can actually go through, or drive through, or a building. But they're an online bank. Anyone uses those?
I would not use an online bank.
Commercial bank, Bank of America, Chase, Fifth Third. And savings alone, probably not. What about other? Is there any others that you